welcome in everybody. I hope you've had a good week since I've seen you last and you're ready for this mindful movement session. As always with this session and any session you do with me, always try and do it to the best of your ability, but that might mean that you might have to make some adaptations for yourself. So if you need to take any extra break, extra rest, then feel free to do so. If you want to have some extra hydration breaks, that is also absolutely fine. Throughout the session, I'll be giving you some movements and breathing and all that kind of stuff as well, as you'll see as we go through. But if there's any adaptations outside of what I instruct, then feel free to do that if that's what you need to do, whether that's a range of motion thing, whether that's a intensity thing, although the session isn't that intense. Feel free to make those changes to make it as suitable for you. I'll be here to guide you to the best of my ability though, so try and follow along where you can. With that out of the way, let's get ourselves into a nice comfortable position, however that looks for you. And we'll start with some nice deep breathing, going in through the nose, out through the mouth, and start just to relax down in where you are. Keep that breathing going, nice and controlled. And if you haven't already, start to close down those eyes, bring that focus inwards, and just keep the breathing going there. Just nice, slow, deep breathing here. Just nice, relaxing, deep breaths. Bringing that focus inwards. Just focus on breathing in, breathing out, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Each time you breathe in, let those lungs inflate. Sit yourself up a little bit taller as you do so, and as you breathe out, just relax down into it. And just notice how that breath affects your body as you're going through this movement here. Remind ourselves that sometimes the hardest part of these sessions is turning up in the first place, but we're also reminding ourselves that now we're here. First of all, we can thank ourselves for being here, and reminding ourselves to stay focused through this session, but also with the understanding that the mind likes to wander naturally. So whenever we catch it wandering, we just bring it back in line. We don't make any judgments on ourselves for wandering away from being focused, but we just bring it back in line and focus on the task at hand. The more we can stay focused through the session, the more mindful we are, and the more we get from this session overall. So keep that focus in there as much as you can as we go through this next hour together here. As you're breathing, start to sit up a little bit taller if you're not already, and as you breathe in, imagine there's a piece of string and it's pulling you right the way through your spine up towards the ceiling, and as you breathe out, it just relaxes off. And again, as you breathe in and breathe out, so breathe in, pull that string tight. And as you breathe out, relax it down. Good. Start to open up your eyes. We're going to change the order of today's session a little bit, and we're going to start with our neck mobility. So nice and gently, we're just going to do some looking up and down, nice and controlled. So usually we do this about halfway through the session. Today we are starting with it. And just nice, gentle movements, looking up, looking down. We're not trying to go through a crazy range of motion here. We're just trying to get a nice flow between looking up and down. At any point, if it hurts, or you get some major discomfort doing it, you can just back it off a little bit and just go a shorter range of motion into one that's a little bit more comfortable. Good, well, just nice, easy movements. Next time you find yourself looking down, let's hold that position for a little bit here and just sort of let gravity take over a little bit here. So bring the chin in, relax the head down. You might be able to feel a little bit of a stretch in the back of the neck, maybe not though, but just do your best to hold it there. Excellent work. If you want to take it a little bit further, first of all, feel free to stay there if that's enough, but if you want to take it a little bit further, keep the chin almost locked in place there and just rock the head side to side. And you'll probably feel a little bit of a stretch almost at the back corners of the neck. Good, well, let's ease out of that. Just go back into looking up and down again. Yeah, and then we're going to go into our extension next. First of all, we're going to start by looking forward. We're going to place our hand just roughly on top of the sternum there. Keep the mouth closed and look up towards the sky. I'll repeat that again for those who didn't get it the first time. So start by looking forward. Place one hand gently on top of the sternum. Keep that in place there. And then keep the mouth closed and look up from there. And when you do it right, you'll feel a stretch through the front of the neck there. And again from there, we can sort of rock side to side a little bit in that position if you want to take it a little bit further. And that stretch sort of shifts from one side to the other as you sort of lean one side and the other in that extended position. Good, well, let's ease out of that. Go back to looking up and down again, just to ease out of it here. And let's move on to our rotation next. Looking left, looking right. Go back and forth between the two. Good work. Just nice and gentle again, just going back and forth, looking left, looking right, nice and gentle. And again on this, if you're feeling any pain or discomfort, back off of where you feel that area of pain or discomfort and just go for a shorter range of motion. Okay, we're going to do the stretch part now. So we're going to start by looking forward. We're going to place our left hand around about our right collarbone or just on top of it there. Again, keep the mouth closed and we're going to look over to the left side. I'll repeat that again if you need to. So I'm going to bring the left hand on top of the right collarbone. I'm going to rotate to the left. You feel the stretch through the front of the neck on that right hand side there. If you don't, feel free to change the position. And don't forget to breathe in this position either. And again, if you want to take it a little bit further, you're rotated around to the left. We can just start nodding up and down in that position. Good. Well, let's ease out of it. Do a couple of lefts and rights. And then we're going to repeat it on the other side. So this time take the right hand on top of the right, or top of the left collarbone, sorry. So right hand across to the left collarbone. Keep the mouth closed. Rotate around to the right. And hold that position there. And again, if you want to take it a little bit further, you can just add some nodding into this one. So just looking up and down in that rotated position. I feel a little bit more when I'm looking down in this one. Just feel a little bit of an extra stretch there. But your results may vary into where feels like it needs more of a stretch. Good, let's ease out of it there. And we go back into some lefts and rights. There's the train. The train's back. Okay, I get excited every time I see it. Okay, next time we're going to go into the lateral flexion. So bring one ear to one shoulder, one ear to the other, back and forth between the two. So nice, gentle movements. Back and forth, left and right, ear towards the shoulder. It doesn't have to touch the shoulder. It'd be pretty hard without lifting the shoulder up. We keep those shoulders down as we're doing it. We go over towards each one. Good work. The next time we find our left ear towards the left shoulder, we're going to hold that position. And you've got three options here. You can either hold it still like so. You can take the right arm and you can drop it down and try and pull it down towards the floor. And then the last option is to bring that behind you. So again, you can either have hand on the lap, hand down by your side, or hand behind you, whichever one works best for you here. Good, well, let's ease out of that. Doing some lefts and rights. And then let's swap over to the other side. So the next time the right ear is on the right shoulder, we're going to hold that there. And then again, we can either have the hand on the lap, drop it down, or behind you. Well, let's ease out of it. One side and the other. Good. Well, let's go through the rest of our spine now. So we'll start with some extension and flexion. I'm going to turn to the side so I can show you from there as well. If you need the extra, if you already know though, feel free to carry on. So just curling forwards like a prawn or a shrimp. And then arching back like a high jumper. Back and forth between the two. It doesn't have to be a huge range of motion, but just the best that you can do here is all we can ask for. Good work. Let's go into our next one now. So some rotation. Rotate around to one side. Rotate around to the other. Back and forth between the two. Again, nice and controlled. Don't try and force it too much here. We can use our arms to assist, but try not to force those hands or that spine around. Good, let's ease out of that. And then we will go into our lateral flexion. So bend down to one side, bend down to the other, back and forth between the two. Nice, easy movements. Again, on this one, as always, try not to lean forwards or back too much in this. You want to stay in a line, almost like you've got a pane of glass in front and behind you, and you're sort of slipping between the two. Good work. And then let's go into some whirlpool now, so coming around, sort of combining some of those previous ones together. Let's change direction. Nice work. Let's give that a little bit of a wiggle off there. Let's grab a hydration break now. And I can tell you, whilst you're having your hydration, for those who didn't see last week, so I said this bit of water here is where the East India Company used to come in. So that's called the East India Dock. For those who know their colonial history, they were basically the people that were not very good people, but they used to basically fund the British Empire, or the British Empire funded them, whichever way you want to look at it, and kind of took over the world. But there's a little piece of it left. Well, that bit's left, but just to the left of it, there's a building, and I saw it the other day. It says whale oil on it still, so it's still the old sign from whoever knows when that was the largest industry in the world, was whaling, trying to get the oil for all the lanterns that were all over London, giving that Victorian look, I guess. Anyway, enough of my history lesson for today. We'll get back to doing some movement and some breathing. So we'll get into a bit of a relaxed state first of all. Again, just nice deep breathing going in through the nose, out through the mouth, and continue that breathing there for just a little bit. And now as you breathe in, let's shrug those shoulders up, give them a squeeze as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, just relax them down. So breathe in, squeeze up, breathe out, relax down. And there's two benefits to this as we keep going along with it. One is just linking that breathing in with the movement, and it helps to relax it down, but also helps to send blood to the area by almost pumping it, by squeezing the muscles. So you got that benefit, but also the other benefit is getting that scapular movement in here. So the scapulars are the two bones, well, one's bone on either side of our back, and they help quite a bit with shoulder mobility. And often people tend to get these sort of not moving as they should. So this is just one exercise to help get them moving. And the other one is the next one we're going to do, which is instead of going up and down, we're going to squeeze behind us. So squeezing the shoulder blades together, and then we're going to push the shoulders forwards. And we go back and forth between the two. So squeeze back and then push forwards. Keep that going there. So on the first one, our shoulder blades are kind of going like this. So they're gliding up and down. On this one, they're kind of opening up and bringing together. So we're moving them in the planes of motion that they are designed to. And better mobility and strength as well that we have in these, in the muscles that connect to that, the less chance we have of shoulder injuries and the more ability we have to move more freely. So helps in quite a few ways, especially for us that have a more seated lifestyle. Good, let's go into some shoulder rotations that kind of combine some of that together. You see, you get a little bit of shrugging, you get a little bit of retraction and all sorts as you go around, mobilizing. And there, let's change direction and go the opposite way. And that's exactly why we do these. There's no reason why you can't just add in some little shoulder wiggles throughout the day as well, just to help keep it mobile. Let's make it a little bit more now. So have your hands roughly on your shoulders, and we're going to trace some circles with those elbows going around to the best of your ability. And always with this, we can do both hands together, or we can do alternating, or we can do single arm. You can always do a couple on one side, a couple on the other. Do what works for you here. I find personally that going both around together just gets me a little bit more of a stretch. But if you do alternating, you get a little bit of a spinal wiggle in there as well. So there's benefits to all of it. So don't feel like you're missing out by doing one rather than the other. And as always, if you want to, you can mix it up. But whichever one you're doing, let's change the direction and go the opposite way now. And you might find that you can move maybe a little bit more free in one direction versus the other, maybe a little bit more mobile, maybe a bit more balanced as well. And that's perfectly normal to and let's start to open it up even more by taking one hand and tracing the biggest circle we can with our hand. If that's all the way around, then you can do all the way around. If you can't go all the way around, we can come smaller. We can even do it with a bent arm, and it can even just be down low if that's all that we're able to do. And it may be that you have different ranges of motion on each arm, and you may have different ranges of motion on different days. And different times of day as well. I know when I wake up in the morning, I'm a bit of a side sleeper, so one arm's a bit like in the morning. I just give it a little bit of mobility, and it sort of helps it on its way. So I'd always try and ease into it like we are here as well. Let's change direction with that arm. So try not to go too much going into straight arm movements like this in the mornings, but with a little bit of a wiggle and a little bit of a warm up, it starts to move a little bit easier. So yeah, feel free to use any part of our sessions that we do throughout the day, especially with these mindful movement sessions. They're all skills that we can easily repeat and we still get more benefits from. Let's switch over to the other side. So if you feel like, you know, maybe you've been sat in one position for too long and you just need some movement, you can do any part of the session again. and just help just to keep things moving, keep things mobilized throughout the day. And I've been known to do some of these movements on a train even, or on an aeroplane, especially on a long haul flight. People probably look at me weird, but they've probably already done that when I got on the plane in a wheelchair, so give them something else to stare at. Okay, let's change direction with that arm. Good, well, let's go back to some shoulder rotations again. And on this one, you can change direction, wiggle it around, just move it however feels right to you. And then we go into a little bit of stretching now. So our first one here, we're going to reach over to one side, and we're going to hold it there for 3 to 5 seconds. And then we're going to come down and over to the other side. Now, if you're not able to bring the arm all the way up and over, then we just bring it over in front of us, or even lower if you have to. But being able to bring the hand over your body, whether that's higher or lower, is a really beneficial movement that we can do. Get some stretch in that upper back and lower back, depending on where you're doing it. And that's going to help with all sorts as well. And there's not many times, and you're probably not aware of how few times, that you get your arms above your head as well throughout the day. And we come from monkeys, and they swang in trees with their arms above their heads. And if you see monkeys, they go around like this sometimes. So that, and they've got exactly the same like shoulder layout as we do. So they are sort of almost designed to be like that, and our modern lives have kind of brought them down more. But they're still designed to move in those ranges of motion, so the more we can do it, the happier and healthier they'll be. Good, well, let's go into our next stretch here. So we start to open up the chest, so bring the hands back behind us, and then we're going to reach one arm forwards, push it forwards in the shoulder joint there, and then bring it back in line, open up that chest again, and then reach the other hand forwards to, I'm going to come from the side to show you there. If you feel like you've got it, carry on. If not, we bring both hands back behind us, try and get the elbows, wrists back, and then when you reach forwards, you reach that hand forwards, but not just like that, we push it forwards in the shoulder joint, you get a bit more of a stretch there as you do so, and then bring it back to the chest stretch. And then back to the front one on the other side this time. Good, let's ease out of that one. Let's go into our next stretch. We're going to do some rotator cuffs. So you've got 2 options here. Option number 1, elbows tucked in and go out to the side and back in. Option number 2 though, if you can do it, do this one, which is have the hands up and rotate up and down. It's the same movement, just one's with the elbows down if you're not able to keep the arms up. You just rotating those shoulders, and as you do so, you feel a stretch there, especially in this up position as you almost rotate it kind of back behind you, and then come down. That's good. All right, let's ease out of that, and we do our final stretch here. We're going to place our hands either on your wheels or your hips, and we push the elbows forwards, and then we squeeze them back behind us. And again, just go back and forth between those two movements. Hold each one for like 3 to 5 seconds. If you feel like you need to hold it longer though, that's not a problem. Just go with what feels right to you in this. Nice. All right, let's go. Just some nice deep breathing again. Shoulder rotations, however feels good for you. And ease it off there. Let's go for another hydration break. Unfortunately, I forgot to pour mine before we started. It'll take me a while to do, so I'm just gonna be drinking like a litre at the end. Or how much is that? I'm not sure. It's a lot. Like a bottle's worth afterwards. I don't know the fluid ounce to litre conversion, so maybe it's gallons. Maybe that's excellent. All right. We are going to go into some breathing and some moving at the same time now. So once you had your drink, get yourself comfortable again. Nice deep breathing going in through the nose, out through the mouth. I'm going to do a couple more there. And as you breathe in, we're going to bring those hands up. And as you breathe out, we're going to push them down. Breathe in, pull up. Breathe out, push down. Link the breathing with the movements. However long it takes you to breathe in, that's how long it takes you to raise your hands up. However long it takes you to breathe out, that's lowering those hands back down. Try and make it one fluid movement with the breath, with the arms. Good. Next, we're going to bring those hands up. And instead of going down, we're going to push forwards as we breathe out and down. So breathe in, breathe out. Good. Well, now as we breathe in, we're going to bring them up. As you breathe out, we're going to push out to the side and then down. So breathe in, breathe out. Good work. Now what we do is as we breathe in, bring it up, and as we breathe out, we're going to push up, out, and around. So it'll be a long, slow breath out on this. So breathe in, bring the hands up, breathe out, and push up, out, and around. Good, let's ease it off there. Relax for a second. Good, we're going to go into some of our yoga-like movements now. To do this, we start from the beginning on this one. So we're going to bend forwards, reaching down to the floor. Then from there, we're going to come up with a flat back. You can either raise yourself up or push off your lap or off your wheelchair or whatever you've got available to you if you need some assistance. Up to about 45 degrees. Then we relax back down again, and the second time we come up, we curl up. The vertebrae stack on top of each other in our spine. The neck finishes the movement, and we sit up nice and straight. Then we go all the way back down to the beginning again. So nice, reaching down, up with the flat back to 45 degrees, back down again, and then curling up the second time. Let's keep going through that there. Up with the flat back. Back down. Curling up the second time. And all the way down again. Good work, everybody. Keep that going. Couple more times here. Up with that flat back. Back down. Curling up the second time. Good work. On the next one, we're going to add a little bit extra in. So up with the flat back. Back down. Then curling up. As we come up, palms together. Reaching up. Out. And around. And down there. All the way back down to the starting position. If you feel like you're confident with it, keep going. But if not, it's up with a flat back. Back down, curling up. Palms together, reaching up. Out. And around. And all the way down. Up with that flat back. Back down. Curling up. Palms together, reaching up. Out. And around. And we'll do one more here like this. So flat back, down, curling up, palms together, up, out and around. Okay, on this next one we're going to add in that extra bit. So as we come up, out, we stop at parallel to the floor, we rotate around to the left, we rotate round to the right, and then we come all the way back down to the starting position. So come up with that flat back. And back down, curling up. Palms together, reaching up. Out and around to parallel. Rotate to the left. Rotate to the right. And back down. If you're confident with that, keep going. If you need some extra adaptations as we come out, we could do it with a slightly bent arm if that's easier for you. One side and the other. or even if you can't just keep the arms up, we can always just try and just rotate round to the best of our ability. Just adding a little bit more movement in there. Good work. Okay, let's add another little bit in here. So this time, as we come up, out and around, we're going to rotate to one side, and then we're going to seesaw the hand down and this arm up, and seesaw back. We'll rotate round to the other side, seesaw that arm down, seesaw that one up, and back round and to the bottom. I'll tell you which arms to do as we get started, so it's easier for those who haven't done it before. So we come down to the floor, and then come up with that flat back. Back down again, and curling up this time. Palms together, reaching up, out, and around to parallel. We rotate to the left. The left arm comes down, the right arm comes up. We seesaw it back again. We rotate all the way around to the right side. The right arm comes down, and the left arm comes up. Seesaw back again, round to the middle, and all the way down to the bottom again. Coming up with that flat back, back down. Curling up the second time. Palms together, reaching up, out, and around to parallel. To the left, left arm down, right arm up. Seesaw back, round to the other side. Right arm down, left arm up. Seesaw back again, round to the middle, and all the way down. Let's go again, up with that flat back. Back down, curling up. Palms together, reaching up, out, and around to parallel. Rotate to the left. Left arm comes down, right arm comes up. Great work, everybody. Switching back. Round to the other side, left arm down, right arm down, left arm up, and seesaw back, back to the middle, and ease it off there. Good. We will end it there with those yoga movements. Feel free to grab another drink before we move into our mindful movement part of the session. So we've got a little bit more time than usual in this part of the session, the mindfulness part, so we're just going to do 2 today to extend it out, and whenever you've had your drink, let's get to it. So we're going to do some box breathing, but to start with, we are just going to do some nice deep breathing just to reset ourselves. After that, we had a little bit of movement, so let's relax it back down with some nice deep breathing going in through the nose, out through the mouth. Nice, slow, deep breathing here. Good. If you haven't already, keep the eyes closed, keep the breathing going. We're going to go into our box breathing next. To remind you, that is where we're going to breathe in for 4 seconds. We'll hold the breath in for 4 seconds. We'll breathe out for 4 seconds, and then we'll hold it out for 4 seconds before repeating it through. So that's the box. Each one of those makes up a side of the box, and each one we do for 4 seconds. So first of all, if you just breathe out, and then we'll breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath in, 2, 3, 4, breathe out. 2, 3, 4, hold it out. 2, 3, 4, then breathe in. 2, 3, 4, hold it in. 2, 3, 4, breathing out. 2, 3, 4, hold it out. 2, 3, 4, breathing in. 2, 3, 4, hold it in. 2, 3, 4, breathing out. 2, 3, 4, hold it out. 2, 3, 4, breathing in. 2, 3, 4, hold it in. 2, 3, 4, breathing out. 2, 3, 4, and return your breathing to normal. Keep the eyes closed there. Just notice how you feel in this moment. Feeling more relaxed for going through this breathing is the key. It's a really great way just to shut everything else around us. We're super fixated on just our breathing, and it helps just to bring sort of almost like a wave of relaxation over us, which is very helpful indeed. We're going to go into our next mindfulness part now. So keep the eyes closed or reclose them if you open them. And let's go into our body scan. We're going to start from the top of our head and go to the tip of our toes and check in with each part along the way. I'll be guiding you here, so just follow along with me as we go through. So start on the top of our head and just notice how it feels. We're not trying to make any judgments here. We maybe figure out why something feels a certain way, but we can assist ourselves by first of all just focusing on the area. But if you want to touch it or wiggle it, however you want to focus on. So I've been in the sun a little bit, maybe too long today, so I noticed that the top of my head's maybe just a little bit sun-kissed. It's feeling a bit tighter than usual. So just being aware of why that feels that way and just having that awareness, how our body is, how it's feeling. Let's move down now into the forehead, and we can move the forehead, the eyes, squeeze them, wiggle them, however that feels for us. I've had a very busy week, and my sleep has been affected because of it, so I know that my eyes are feeling a little bit heavier than they usually are. So it's just an indication of checking in with the body, seeing how it feels, and seeing what it's giving you feedback-wise. Let's go down now through into our cheeks and our mouth, and again we can give this some movement. I've been talking quite a bit through the session, so the jaw tends to be a little bit more on the tired side, but it's also feeling quite loose because of that talking. Let's go around now to the back of our head, to the top of our spine, and we'll work down vertebrae by vertebrae, just see how it feels. And again, we can give our head a wiggle if we need to. You can give it a rub with the hands as well, see if that gives any extra feedback. And I know that neck is nice and mobile from the movements we've done. It's a little bit on the sorer side, but that's because there's been lots of movements in that. We're going to go into the shoulders now, and coming right out towards the edge, we can wiggle the shoulders if we need to give an assessment of how it feels. We've done a lot of movement, a lot of stretching in there today, so it may be feeling very loose, but it also may be feeling a little bit tired or a little bit like it's stretched it a little bit. So just be aware of that and move on. Let's move down now our arms into our elbows, and again we could mobilize the elbows by just flexing and extending, seeing how it feels, and moving down now through into the wrist. And feel free to give the wrists a bit of a movement here. Mine have been a little bit upset recently, my wrists again, so just keeping close attention to it, paying as much focus in that on it, just to keep an eye on it, see how it is, and keep the progress going in a positive direction by being mindful. And that's the key here. Sometimes we often fixate on other things, whether that's external factors, other internal factors, and we tend to lose track of other things within our body that could be some early warning signs, or just checking in to see that it's all running great. Almost see this as a bit like a maintenance for your body. You're just checking in and seeing how it is. Going back through our arms into our spine again, and we can give that some movement, some wiggling if you need to, just to help us understand how that spine is feeling. Now we come down into our hips, and if you're like myself, you may not be able to feel this area, but that doesn't mean we can't put some energy and thought down there and just see what comes back to us. See if there's any sort of anything really. You put the focus, put the energy down there and see what comes back. You may feel like a bit of restricted movement if you try to wiggle. You may feel like it's moving quite freely. You could feel all sorts, but just have a baseline of how it feels now. Compare it to doing this more and more in the future. Let's go down now through our legs into our knees. And again, see how they're feeling. And then down through our lower legs into our ankles. And our feet and our toes, giving those a nice wiggle if you can, or just try to if you can't. Whilst you got all your focus and energy down there at the bottom, we're going to do 3 big deep breaths together. Each time you breathe in, I want you to imagine there's a bright white light going from the tip of your toes, filling you up all the way up to the top of your head. And as you breathe out, it just dissipates out. And then we go again 2 more times. So focus down at the bottom, and we're doing 1 big breath in and release. 2 more, breathing in. Release. 1 more, breathing in. And release. Keep those eyes closed. Let's keep that focus there a little bit longer. I just want you to thank yourself for being here today, whether you give yourself a pat on the back, a round of applause, or just a quiet thank you to yourself. Just want you to acknowledge that you turned up, you did the session to the best of your ability, and here you are at the end having completed that. So give yourself the plaudits for doing so. And whenever you are ready to, you can sort of start to open up your eyes, bring yourself back to the room as we bring today's session to a close.